everybody. Welcome back to the Work in Progress podcast. I'm Dale.
I'm Rachel.
I'm Tubbs.
And there we go.
Yep.
So we got some interesting topics to talk about today. I think they're interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So
We are on episode 14, right?
this is episode 14.
Okay, just want to double check because I made my little letterhead. It was supposed to say 14.
If it's not, I will still call it episode 14.
Cool.
So how was your guys' week?
Busy.
Mine was as well.
Yeah. I have a...
I feel like you were going to explain. I was like, let me talk about it. Sorry.
That's okay. I'm used to it.
Rachel should talk more. She has super exciting news.
Oh my god, I closed on my house. And I closed last Friday. And then I moved in Saturday. And then I've been spending the whole week meeting with people about getting the solar panels installed and Wi-Fi.
Oh, you're so environmental.
I know, I love the environment. And
How much do you love the environment?
oh my gosh, so much that I want to put myself $32,000 more in debt.
High five.
Yay! Hooray
Love it.
for me. And but yeah, last night I took the night off from working in the shop and doing house stuff because I was getting drained, burned out, and so drank and ate pizza and watched a movie.
That sounds
Yeah.
Very
relaxing.
agreeable.
It was nice. My brain, I kept thinking like, oh, I need to go to Lowe's, and I'm like, no, just stop. No, I need a break. But we could do this. No, we can't. No. So, but yeah, I mean,
Do you take baths?
yeah, I have it in the new house.
I like to, when I'm having a day. I actually don't have it often. I probably do it twice a year.
Uh-huh.
But sometimes I'm like, I'm going to take a bath. And my wife's like, oh, okay, cool. And I'll grab my Bluetooth speaker and my iPad. And my bathroom's very small, so I'll set it on the toilet. Lid, not in the toilet, like on the toilet lid.
Yeah.
And I'll put a movie on, take a shower. Well, I'll take a shower, jump in the bathtub, get ready, and then I'll start a movie.
Yeah.
And I'll just sit there
Well,
watching movies in the bath.
Well, I used to, like once a week I would take a bath, like in Epsom salt, and then I would put some candles around the bathtub and get a glass of wine and just put some like chill music on and just kind of like cleanse my aura type situation. And it felt amazing afterwards.
I call it something else, but yeah.
And,
sounds like a ritual to me.
so, but yeah, I haven't done that for a long time. Isn't it weird that you find things that work for you, and then you're like, no, I don't have time. But it works for you, but I don't have time.
The bath thing, I remember having some reservations about, like, I don't take baths. But also, I'm 6'2" and fat, so they don't make bathtubs for 6'2" fat people. They make bathtubs for like 5'8" fat people, but not 6'2" fat people.
No offense, but I had a funny picture in my head. Putting like 2 gallons of water in, you sit in and it fills up.
Offense. No, we were, me and Dale were traveling for work, and I went and got some craft beer. And I was telling him, you know what, because we were basically at a pretty stressful point in what we were doing work-wise, and we were dealing with it. We were going to leave shortly thereafter, so I told him, I'm going to have a relaxed day. So we went, me and Dale worked together. We weren't there as partners. We went and I grabbed some really good craft beer, and I don't usually drink craft beer, so shit was going to get real. And I was like, I'm going to drink this in the bathtub and watch a movie, but I couldn't find bath bombs. And Dale made the joke, like, don't drown in the bathtub. And I laughed, and I took a picture, and there was another group of people we work with that heard the joke and were kind of laughing about it. So I took a picture of myself, not complete. Well, I was naked, but you couldn't see my body in the picture. Because I wasn't big enough. Or vice versa, whatever. Anyway, so I laid, like, with my butt to the bottom of the bathtub, and my head is on the ramp part of the back of the bathtub, so my head won't even completely submerge. And I was like, not gonna drown, check. And I said it to everybody. But yeah, I remember having reservations like, oh, bathtubs, so not manly. And then I got in one and I was like, this is shitty. And then I discovered that you can put shit in the bathtub.
Yeah.
And I was like, fuck that, I'm in here all day now.
I've never tried the bath bombs. I want to. I've seen a bunch of videos. Like, there's some people I follow on Instagram that actually make them.
Yeah.
And they put like different kinds of minerals in with it, and but I've never I'm curious.
I got April those pearl bath bombs. It's got a ring in it, and like, yeah, it's got a ring in it. You drop it in the water, it comes out, and then it has a ring with a code, and it tells you how much the ring you got is worth. That was just kind of for fun, and then we went to a place here in town, and I really feel bad that I don't remember the name of the company.
Uh-oh.
But they make soap and they make bath
Oh,
bombs.
the barefoot something.
I don't know. I don't want to lie to you, but they were at like they had a little, hey, we're new in town, check us out. And their prices were pretty good, so we bought quite a few of them. I say quite a few, probably 6 of them. I don't know how many bath bombs you buy at once. I don't know if it's like cereal.
Mm-hmm.
That was half a question. I don't know how many bath bombs.
I don't know.
I don't know. Do you buy 1 or 2?
You're more
Is
experienced
it like
than me,
crack?
so.
Do you buy it for right when you're going to use it, or do you buy it for some point in the future?
Yeah, I don't know.
So we bought 6
Keep them in your
of
pockets for emergencies.
bath bomb. But yeah, I remember it being relaxing. But sorry, enough about my bath, my bathing.
When I first got my house, in my master bathroom, there's a shower, and then there's a separate bathtub. And when I got the house, I think it had been since I was maybe 8 years old since I took a bath. I was like, well, since it's here, I might as well use it. So I filled it up and got in, and I was like, this is freaking disgusting.
Oh.
I felt like I was sitting in my own filth. And
You don't take a shower before you get in there?
well, I didn't know there was a rule to it. When I was a kid, you just get in the bathtub.
Yeah.
That's how you get clean. But as an adult sitting in the bathtub, I felt like an idiot.
Oh, I shower up because I don't want to sit in my own filth.
That makes sense. But yeah, and I've had this house for 6 or 7 years now, and that's the only time I ever got in a bathtub.
Is it a big bathtub?
It's a garden tub.
I'll
good
take a
size.
bath in your bathtub.
Yeah.
Just so I get some use.
Okay.
Fit in
The
it.
cats hang out in it. They always.
No,
Your
you'll
cats
fit in
can
it.
join. No, actually, no. Your cats can't join. Your cats are fucking big.
My cats like to lay in the bathtub and catch the drips off the faucet.
Feed me great. One drip at a time.
Yeah.
I think for some reason I was thinking about how much I enjoy baths. Like I had an ex-girlfriend, what's the
You're an artist, can't you
Draw me a
bath?
bath.
yeah, well,
That's the term, draw me a bath.
yeah, drew me a bath, and I was like, oh my gosh, I thought that was like one of the most romantic things that somebody could do for me is draw me a bath and like, here, go relax. Oh, thank you. Yeah.
That sounds nice.
Yeah, it was nice, and then
Every time I hear that, I'm like, all you did was turn on the hot water and put the plug in.
it was a
Came
thought.
back later and then shut the water off.
Well, maybe I will attempt a bath again, and then I'll talk about it on the next podcast.
Good. Sometimes we record more than one in an evening. I honestly think just we finish this one, you go take a bath, come back, start fresh. Is that weird?
Yeah.
We'll sit with you.
Oh, okay.
It's not going to be weird for you. We'll take the mic in there.
There you go.
Podcast
Yeah.
from the bathtub. And then to make it really weird, we'll just switch who's in the bath
Mhm.
halfway through the podcast.
Okay. You can record my fight with the battleships and all that.
I don't have battleships in my bathtub.
Bathtub
Oh.
I
farts.
feel like it's a waste of that. Bathtub farts. Just a little
Those
ball
stink,
of
man.
gas.
When they hit the surface. Oh.
See, that's why you motherfuckers think baths are disgusting. You're not supposed to do that in a bath. That's some fucking decency. You're in the water.
Bath
you're
etiquette.
shitting yourself into. Bath etiquette. Bruh.
Well,
I'm sorry, Rachel. Your
no.
the house with the relaxing.
Oh
day.
no, it's all good. Yeah. So, where was I going?
Oh, you were saying you were trying to relax, have a relaxed day.
Oh
Have
yeah,
nothing
yeah.
about work
So I
today.
watched the movie.
Excuse me.
What was that movie that I watched? Now
I
I'm drawing a
wasn't
blank.
there.
Fantastic
Beasts of Where to Find Them.
Yeah,
Oh.
that was actually a really good movie. I really
I
enjoyed
like
it.
that movie. Like I said, I don't think I watched it all the way through.
I recommend.
I want to watch Wonder Woman. Speaking of movies, but go on. Sorry.
Oh yeah.
I haven't seen that.
I want to see the movie with Charlize Theron where she.
Blonde? The Tom Blonde?
Yeah, and she gets down with another chick. Hmm.
I'm fairly certain that's not what the movie's about.
No, but that's all. I mean, I'm sure there's other stuff to the story,
Well,
but
scene's over, movie's over. Bedtime.
You sound like me watching Spartacus.
oh yeah, that movie.
Because I was like,
Yeah.
Xena Warrior Princess shows up naked? And they're like, you mean Lucy Lawless? No, I mean
Yeah,
Xena Warrior Princess shows up
exactly.
naked. So I want to be there for that.
I think that's kind of almost the only reason why I watched that show, for the sex scenes.
I don't even recognize her anymore compared to when she was in Xena, because I
do.
was watching Ash vs. Evil Dead, and she was in the first season of that.
Was she?
First or second season,
Oh,
yeah.
now I gotta watch that.
And I didn't even recognize her. She looked familiar, but I didn't see Xena Warrior Princess.
Oh, I love that show.
I did.
I watched
She's
it.
also in Parks and Rec.
Oh, was she?
Yeah.
She was in the L Word. Your favorite L Word.
That show.
Towards the end.
That show was disappointing. I never watched the show
No?
because my sister told me that L word was love, and I was like, oh, I thought it was lesbian. So I lost interest immediately.
I didn't like the show as a whole, but there were only 2 characters that I really liked. Probably because of the sex scenes. I really liked their sex scenes, but other than that, it was like, oh, like everybody else's everyday dramatic life.
Speaking of the L word, have you seen Netflix's one of their categories is gay and lesbian movies?
They bring it back?
I was looking through Netflix and I was like, gay and lesbian movies. I was like,
I haven't seen that category in a long time.
It comes up on mine, so
What the fuck?
I have friends that are gay.
Yeah, but it should be.
That was a really shitty. It's okay, I have friends. I can make that joke. No, yeah, it came up.
Your friends don't have that on their Netflix.
Oh, I don't care. It seems like a you problem. No, but I was going through it and I was like, why does this keep popping up? Ow, shit. Sorry, I hurt myself.
Stop hurting yourself, Todd. It's not worth it.
I like it. Yeah, that came up, and I was going through the movies, and the first couple were pretty fucking obvious.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, I was like, these are just movies. They're not really gay or lesbian movies. They're just movies.
Oh, on Amazon Prime, I was looking for Game of Thrones or something, and then it came up Gay of Thrones. So I'm gonna watch it.
How's that? Oh, you don't watch it yet?
No, not
What
yet.
is it?
It's a gay version of
Like a
Game of
spoof?
Thrones. Yeah, I think probably.
Oh. Is it a porn?
No, I don't.
It's
No.
gotta be.
It's gotta be.
It's
slightly-
No, I
comedy
think
or
I think
something.
it's a twist. It's like the L Word and Queer as Folk.
I don't know why we're like, we can watch this and figure this out.
That's true.
But then we'd have nothing to talk about.
I haven't seen that, but I've
Let's just make a podcast where you speculate on movies. And
it's the movie speculation podcast.
speculation podcast.
Um,
You know what? We could just make that. We should make that one of the segments.
There you go. But I have a feeling it's probably something to do with comedy. Because I don't think they would remake the entire series of Game of Thrones just to be gay.
Oh no, they don't have the first or second season on there. I think it goes. Yeah, I don't know.
Huh.
We could speculate.
So, should we try to get into our first topic?
Oh, hold
do
up.
it.
I'm going
Alright.
through some things right now.
Uh-oh.
I'm having a bit of a time.
So Dale,
Uh-huh.
how's your sculpture? Fuck. Can you help me out? Sculpture going.
Is slowly, but it's getting there.
Yeah.
It's sitting on my sculpting table behind you, and I have been I started that armature back in April, and I've just been so busy this year. I haven't been able to finish anything. I haven't finished a single sculpture since March.
It's okay.
So, I know, but it's frustrating.
No,
Yeah.
it's not.
But I'm getting there.
It's not
That's
okay,
one-
and I can tell you why I think he feels that way because I was thinking of how fucking hot it was outside and all the projects I want to work on, and I'm like, granted, it's not like we have a billion followers to disappoint. I was like, we have a podcast where literally we're talking about works we have in progress, and the only person talking about what they have in progress is Rachel. Because Dale was talking about, a lot of us, I say about me and Dale have been working Fridays, so we basically just have time to come do this podcast, and I have family stuff to do, and he has deal with all the shit he has in his house. And I've been like, I gotta finish up just one thing so I can put it on Instagram to say, I finished one thing this month. It's now September, literally the first day of September, and I still haven't gotten to it.
I think if I wasn't doing the business, I think I'd have a lot of unfinished projects. Because I think before the business, all these paintings I had started and never finished. But now that I'm doing this business, it's like, well, stuff's got to get done. So
Mom's gotta make that money.
yeah. But I've been exploring the the thought or belief or something about like if I feel like there's a lot of resistance towards doing something, it's because I'm not ready to do it yet. Like I'm not aligned with myself to
Sounds like
dive
a
in.
great justification for procrastination.
Huh?
That sounds like a great justification for procrastination.
Well,
I'm just not in the mindset to throw the trash out right now. And I really don't want to fuck up my aura with throwing this trash out. See if that works with April later today.
I think that you get more done if you go with the flow instead of going against it. So I think when you're trying to force yourself into doing something, you're going against the flow, and it's not going to work out.
I think
agree.
So I think-
art on art versus like, so when I think of something I have to finish in that respect. I'm sorry. When I think of something I have to finish in that respect. Sorry, we had a. Sorry about that. We were having some audio issues. Audio issues. Oh, wow, that does look way cleaner.
Yeah.
I forgot where we were.
Sorry for that. Sorry about your ears.
Just so you know, Dale's a tech guy, so if you have any issues,
Whoa,
email us at artistwhip@gmail.com and any complaints you have about Dale. Also, I did mess with the microphone before we started, so it might be my fault, but really, I feel like Dale should have checked this before we started.
You were talking about procrastination.
Oh,
Well, me and Rachel sound good, so that's all I'm worried
Yeah.
about.
fair enough.
High five to us.
Yeah.
Saddest high five. So on the procrastination front, from not being able to finish something because you don't want to, in an artistic sense, I guess you shouldn't force yourself to do something artistically. When I have something to do, like I have to make a shelf for something, I know what I want it to look like, and I will cuss and scream like. But honestly, this sounds stupid and probably very juvenile. Juvenile in the sense of I've only been woodworking a little bit. I don't work in a woodworking shop. I don't do stuff like that. But from that point of view, I cuss and scream a lot at the stuff I work with.
Oh, you haven't heard me.
Oh, well, that's what
When
I'm
I'm
saying.
in the shop alone, it's...
To me, like, it has to get done because this shelf needs to be made. Today we have to make this shelf. Like, that's got to get done. So, in my head, from your point of view of, like, I have an unfinished project, I have a shitload of unfinished projects. But some of those are time-related procrastination. Some of it's financial or, fiscal. I'm just not going to pay to do that right now. There's a lot of those little baby kind of things that are the reason that I'm not doing that. But as far as stuff like you're not gonna procrastinate putting smoke alarms in your kitchen, or you might. I don't know. Whatever you're into.
I've got a lot of missing smoke alarms in my house.
Yeah, well, actually,
I hope
the
my
only reason I
insurance
thought of that
company
is
doesn't
because I went to Lowe's to pick up something simple. I went to Lowe's to pick up something, and I got back and my wife was like, "Hey, I forgot to ask you for smoke alarms." And I was like, shit, I gotta get some smoke alarms. And then I said fire extinguisher accidentally. She's like, we don't need fire extinguishers. And now I totally need a fire extinguisher just because I don't have. Do you have a fire extinguisher?
Yes, if my insurance company's listening.
Well, no, I just thought I should have one
Yeah.
or two. And the smaller ones aren't even expensive.
We have one in the shop,
Yeah.
but I'd like to have one in the house.
Yeah, well, they're not terribly expensive.
No, they're
you know
not.
what, dude? When I go, I'll price them all and I'll send you the deets.
Okay.
But yeah, off topic, because we're on a podcast. I think that's how my headspace as far as having stuff unfinished. There's some stuff like I have a Shopsmith, an AR10, I think is the model number of it. Somebody gave to me because their father-in-law or something dropped off at their house in pieces. They got in pieces. They don't know what's missing. So I found an old PDF somebody had scanned in, and I was looking at all the parts, and I think most of the parts are there except for the lathes tool rest. And it's in a bunch of pieces. It needs a new motor. It needs the posts realigned, the main. That's probably not going to get done anytime soon. And I mean anytime soon. So when I get a chance to work on that, I'm pretty sure that'll be a pretty awesome project. But the only thing I did do is as soon as I got it, I took all the rust off of everything and coated everything so it wouldn't get rusty again, and then just set it aside. I didn't want the rust eating too far through it. But I've had people like, "Oh, are you gonna finish that?" No, I just set it up so I can procrastinate longer. Because that's all I did. I coated all the in that stuff used on rims, the wax coating or whatever. Not wax coating. It's like a coating you put on it so it doesn't rust, basically. I painted a couple of pieces and coated the rest of them that and just put it away. And that's gonna get worked on at some point in my life if I don't die. But that's not a priority. I don't have a drill press or a lathe right now, but also I don't really super need a drill press or a lathe right now. And if I do need a drill press, I have a friend Rachel. She's got a drill press, so
Yep.
go bug her
Mm-hmm.
with a trailer full of wood. Like, I'll be here for a few hours. I need that. Like I said, a few hours. But so when it comes to not finishing something, I mean, people have, like, that's one of the things I love about contractors' houses. If you go to somebody's house as a contractor, there's something unfinished in their house. They're working on a room. They have, like, all the doors off of their house. Like, it's always some of those little funny things that I think is really cool.
Mechanic in their car.
Yeah, the mechanics always have, like, the car we drive every day that's probably brand new.
Yeah.
And then the car I drive all the time that needs so much shit. Because the fucked up thing is once they finish it, they're like, yeah, cool. So sell it so I can buy another car that I can work on?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I knew this mechanic who had this older car, and he absolutely loved these cars. But, like, almost, like, once a week, the thing would break down. I'm like, dude, you're a mechanic. What the fuck? Well,
She's a work in progress.
yeah. I'm like, you should know exactly what you need to make this car go, like, every week. But no. Oh, it must have been this or that. And I'm like, come on, dude. I don't get it.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it's just like photography. Like, I'm a photographer at work, and, like, the last thing I want to do is photography outside of work. And I don't know, like, there's a bunch of pictures I want to take. Like, I've gotten inspired to when I see something, like when I'm driving home from work, I'm like, oh my gosh, that would be an amazing picture. And I'm like, man, we're driving. I'm committed.
There's actually, like, I have that conversation a lot with my sisters and you guys and people at work. So what kind of, like, people that don't know me at work. So, you know, what do you use at home? I don't use a camera at home. My wife has a camera that I use sometimes to take pictures that she wants. Well, I mean, you live in Arizona. You have this beautiful landscape. I'm like, yeah.
It's
You know what,
fucking
though?
hot.
If I want to see it, I can just go outside. I don't even have to get out of the truck. Just drive up a ridge line, get my 4-wheel drive up a ridge line, stop. Like, yeah, that looks awesome.
Yeah.
Have a cigarette or a breakfast sandwich and my coffee. All right, cool. Let's go back home. I enjoyed that. That's it. And like when I'm talking to my sisters, or I say my sister because when I tell my sister this a lot, but people take pictures. And I love, there's a couple of videos of people taking selfies, and it makes me laugh. But to me, it's people stop being in the moment to take a picture of the moment.
Oh,
And
speaking of.
I don't need like if I met somebody if I got to meet 311, I would probably take a picture, but I would take a picture afterwards, and say like I met. But even if I didn't take a picture, I know that I met him.
Mm-hmm.
I know that I had a conversation with him. I don't need you to know. Like, if I can tell you, well, do you have a picture? Oh, I forgot to take one. Well, it's horseshit. Don't believe me. That doesn't benefit my experience at all. That doesn't add or take away from my experience. I know I got to meet him.
Mm-hmm.
Like, one of my, like, oddly favorite, like, a huge fan, we were at a Comic-Con, it's got to be a few years ago. It was a Phoenix Comic-Con, and there was Jane from Firefly was there.
Adam Baldwin.
Adam Baldwin. Adam Baldwin was there.
God, that was a lot of
And I
brothers.
fucking love... No, he's not a Baldwin brother.
He's not
Oh, he's
related.
not?
Yeah, he's not related in. Yeah.
Oh,
But that guy is the shit. He's also tall as fuck.
yeah.
That guy's tall, like, and he's big. Like, in the show, he looks like, oh, he works out. That dude is big.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, shit, Adam Baldwin's in the bar. Because in Phoenix, at the convention center, right, everybody was staying at the Hyatt. All the people from the Comic-Con. So there's a bar at the bottom of the Hyatt. And my wife had bought us the rooms. Me and my buddy were going, and my wife was like, hey, you know, it's for your birthday. Here's money for the rooms. Awesome. So we show up there, and Jane's at the bar, and I'm like, holy shit. And I was like, I'm gonna buy him a beer. I didn't talk to him before I just tell you. I didn't fucking talk to him because I was like gargantuous fucking sissy. But I walked into the bar and I saw like security dudes outside the bar, and I was like, oh shit, this guy's crazy. And I go in there and I'm like, dude, it's Adam Baldwin. That guy's awesome. And the server was like, yeah, everybody else took like the back exit because Elvira was there, Stan Lee was there, Leonard Nimoy was there. They took the back exit and got like escorted into the back of the hotel, the back way of the hotel. And they're like, he's like, all right, cool, I'm going. He stood up from the picture taking, shaking hands, signing stuff. And they had to have like security guards on him, or his assigned detail. And he walked. He's like, "You guys need to stop following me so close, because there's people trying to talk to me. And they're like, move, get out." No, it's a Comic-Con. That's why I showed up, so people can talk to me. And the server that was giving the beer came up, and I was like, "Could you buy him a beer for me? But don't tell him it's from us, because if he looks at me, I'm gonna be like, oh my god!" And I'm a very big dude. He doesn't need to see me. He doesn't need to see me gush, basically. And he's like, "Yeah, no, totally." So he bought him a beer. He took it to him. He set it next to him, and he kind of raised it like, "Thank you to whoever got this." He was talking
You
like,
roofied Adam Baldwin.
well, describe roofied.
I don't know.
Oh, okay, because it wasn't roofing.
I was trying to take the story to the next level.
Oh no.
It's a cool story though.
Somebody got touched. No, but I bought him the beer. He raised the glass up, and he was also talking to like 4 women. And I'm like, if I'm super famous and I'm talking to 4 women, you're like, "Hey, I'm a huge fan." Cool, dude. Did you not notice the women? So part of me also didn't want to bother for that. But he was very cool, like very like, "Thank you," like kind of look at who was paying attention. And I was like, "Oh my god, that's the one I got him. That's the beer I got him." And the bartender like the server was talking to the bartender. Anyway, the server came back, and he was like, "Yeah." He walked up to the hotel. He stopped at the entrance, and told the detail, like the security detail, like, "Don't go inside with me." And he sat down. And I was looking at him, and I was sitting on the same kind of area he was, because I was like 4 or 5 feet away from him. Fuck yeah, I was stalking him. So I was sitting at like the next table over from him, so I was pretty close to him. And I was looking at him, and I like stood my back straight up, and he's got to have at least 4 inches on me in height. And it might be an exaggeration in my head, but like
he's larger than life.
He's the best. But he was sitting there, and I was like, "Who's gonna fuck with that guy? That guy's fucking huge."
You are.
Yeah, basically. "I bought him a beer. Can I be your best friend? Will you sign my shirt?" But yeah, that guy, that was awesome. I don't know where the story was going, but I just thought of the fact that I was that close to him. I was like, "Yes." And my head fluttered. That guy was awesome.
Where are we going?
We had great times.
We had great times when I was close to him, and he was like, "Dude, thanks for the beer." And I was like, "I got you that."
We got off way topic on
I don't know what the topic was.
Well,
Did I tell you guys about
we
that
didn't
time I got
actually
to sit next to
what?
We didn't actually start
Adam
talking.
Baldwin?
Yeah, no, we didn't. Well, it's a perfect time to start a topic.
It's
since
perfect
we
time to start
forgot
talking.
where
Do you
we're
guys want to
going
shut
with
up about me being super excited about meeting Adam Baldwin? We're not meeting, but being next to Adam Baldwin.
In the same room. Well,
In the same room.
Same state.
Basically, we were right next to each other, but
That's
whatever.
in the same country.
But so actually, that's what we were talking about. The point of that whole thing is, I could have grabbed my phone and taken a selfie,
Oh yeah, yeah,
like
yeah.
Adam Baldwin's in here.
Yeah.
But that's the experience I had, and it also got shit on by the fact that my buddy is a huge fan of The Patriot, the movie, and Adam Baldwin's the one that burns down the church, so he fucking hates Adam Baldwin. And I was like, first of all, you eat a dick. That guy's awesome. Second of all, fuck you.
Thinking
That guy's awesome.
That picture, I think I saw it on 9gag. It was a picture of the Earth from out in space, and it was like, here's a picture of me and Emma Watson together.
Factual.
Yeah. But since we're on the Earth topic,
Oh.
So Rachel wanted to cause some controversy, and one of her number one topic for today was flat Earth.
Yes.
Flat Earth believers, flat Earth deniers,
Yes.
flat Earth overall. Before we started this podcast, because we care, we did some research on the subject.
And Tubbs got mad a little bit.
You say mad. I would use the term irate with excessive cussing. But, everybody has their own opinion.
Yeah.
So, Rachel, you posed the topic. What you feeling? How you doing?
So, it seems like the big topic lately is the Earth flat or round, and I think that to summarize my theory on all this is that a belief is something you tell yourself over and over again. So if you tell yourself enough times, you're gonna believe it, and if you keep surrounding yourself with those types of people, you're eventually gonna believe it. Like you'll convince yourself enough, or they'll say something to you just right to convince you that, oh yeah, the Earth is flat.
yeah.
So I mean that kind of goes with a lot of things, but I don't know. I think another thing for me is that science is always evolving. Like what they said 10 years ago may be different right now because they did more research, or the technology wasn't advanced as it was then as it is now, so they could actually do further research into something. So to say like wholeheartedly that this is this, I can't get on that. Like I can stay in the middle ground with it and be like, okay, it could be flat or it could be round. Just from my little experience, it seems like the Earth is more round than it is flat. But I'm not an astronaut. I'm not a pilot. So how can I officially say that this is this? I haven't gone high enough in the atmosphere to actually say.
You haven't spoken the right kind of shit. That's the
well,
problem.
no. That'd be.
Right.
I mean, there are things that I have experienced to say, yeah, the Earth is more round than it's flat.
To me, with people talking about the flat Earth, the people that believe in the flat Earth, there's so many. It seems like just what's the term, off the fly or off the cuff
Off the cuff.
facts that they have to come up with to prove their theory.
Yeah.
It seems like well, they're reaching very much so. And one thing is pretty obvious to me is they have very hard time with scale, like things actually being to scale. I saw some guy it was a flat Earth video trying to prove that the Earth was flat, and he was talking about the eclipse. He's saying, like, he had a small globe and he had a baseball, and he's like, this is the moon, this is the Earth, and he was holding the moon or the ball like 6 inches away from his little Earth, and the scale was completely off, and he had a flashlight behind it.
Yeah.
And, like, you're disproving something based on bad science.
Yeah, and I said that earlier. Like, I don't think that the flat earthers are actually thinking of the scale of or how big the Earth actually is. I think they think it's smaller than what it is. Like, I don't.
They think they're always walking downhill.
Yeah. I don't know. I just.
Yeah.
Tuz, would you like to start your?
Well, it's not going to be a rant. When we talked about it, because we did kind of, believe it or not, as unprepared as we are, we do have full conversations trying to think about what we could be talking about for the podcast. And after we watched a couple of videos and looked at a couple things, and before today, we all kind of talked about the Flat Earth Society and stuff like that. So I had done a little bit of Google, Wikipedia research, and I think approaching it from a standpoint of it is possible to be flat Earth. There is possibility of it being a flat Earth. I approached both of you with the same question: who benefits from the Earth not being round, or who benefits from the Earth not being flat, rather?
Yeah.
What's the major benefit of why lie to everybody, and why is every country on the exact same path of the Earth is flat? Cavemen drew the moon in drawings, and it was always round.
Yeah.
Did somebody fake those just to prove that yes, the Earth is flat? If so, why would they go through all that trouble? Who's doing it, and why does it benefit people for us to believe the Earth is round?
Yeah.
That's kind of my standpoint. I'm not saying that it is or isn't. I mean, Galileo up to one point, and that's one of the beautiful things about science is that when you're a scientist that makes a legitimate argument, you submit something for peer review, and there are people that are as qualified or at least somewhat qualified. Oh no, they're pretty qualified. I don't mean to discredit anybody, but there are people in that kind of genre or that specific field that can fact check you and check your math and check that stuff. Where are those scientists? Is every scientist on this earth corrupt and telling us that the Earth is round? Everything else science has told us up to this point has been, this is what we believe right now. That's why they say, a lot of scientists don't say, I don't know if you've noticed, at least recently, science stopped saying it's scientific fact. They say, right now we believe. Right now we believe. Right now this is what the facts point to.
Yeah.
This is what a repeatable or a test that we've done over and over again, this is what they tell us. That if you hold an apple over your head and let it go, it's going to hit you in the head because gravity pulls it towards your head. That's gravity. That's somebody testing that theory repeatedly. Now, if the Flat Earth Society believes there's some type of dome over us that causes that kind of pressure, that's fine. It's still gravity. It's still tested. Who's peer reviewing the scientists that say that the Earth is flat?
I don't mean to attack or not attack people, but it's kind of an attack, and it's going to come out in that way. But I've noticed a lot of the flat earthers are heavily religious. At least the few videos we watched while we were here. Regardless of their religion, I'm not going to hit on what religion they were, but they said, blah, 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 we're from this, and that, and it had a church logo on the bottom corner of the screen. I mean, that's not Science Weekly. It's not National Geographic. Not saying that they have some super huge credit about science. I'm just saying science has told some stuff that I believe to this. And again, I'm not a scientist, and I'm not a pilot either. I don't think any of us here are pilots. None of us
I
are.
fly a lot of airplanes in Grand Theft Auto. Pretty much all of
I
them.
fly no airplanes in Grand Theft Auto. I don't even play Grand Theft Auto. But
I burned in a C-130 on a cutting board. That's as close as I got.
so
I
no
was stretching.
pilots here.
I was stretching on that one.
I once saw a picture of an airplane. No, so that's my point though. I don't know enough about it. I mean, I'm probably coming from an informed point, and as a person that is, let's say, the way the flat earthers describe him as an ignorant person that doesn't do this kind of research. Great. What titles do they hold in science? Because the people that we watch, at least the people we watch, I'm not saying there isn't valid scientists out there, but the people we watch aren't valid scientists. They're just Joe, who was a fucking pool salesman that now decided the earth is flat, so he's got to make this argument with people.
Well, like I was telling you out there when we were talking about it, as far as the religious ones go, the religious flat earthers, they take the entire scientific claim of the round earth as an attack on their religious faith and belief. They think that if scientists say the earth is round, it's because it's actually flat, and since they say scientists say we're here because of the way evolution works, that's an attack on their creation theory or whatever way they think we got here. They think that it's a conspiracy of scientists against their personal beliefs.
And I'm okay with that. If that's true, that's great. Who? Don't point it over the man. That's great. Who's the man? Who's paying all this money to have a dome made to keep over Earth to keep us isolated? If that's a person, let's find that guy out and let's ask him these questions. If it's a group of people, let's find out who that is and try to get them some answers from him. But if it's just because reasons, it sounds like paranoid babble. I mean, me and Dale have gone on, I think, on the podcast and mostly off the podcast about conspiracy theories. Some of them I think are pretty valid. When you give me an answer of like, this is the person that benefits from this is why they would lie about it. Okay, cool. That's a possibility. Do I believe it? Not entirely, but it's a possibility, and it's a more valid possibility. But just saying the earth is flat and they're making you believe it's round, why? Why? I mean, that's a genuine question. If anybody listening completely believes that, please send me information. I mean, you can email me at artistwhip@gmail.com. Hit me up on Instagram at WIPP Podcast, on YouTube at the Work in Progress Podcast, or on Facebook at Art WIPP. Because I'd love any of those. Yeah, I just plugged the shit out of our show right now.
On our own show.
On our own show. But if like I love those answers, and that's kind of what that's kind of why from my point of view it's great to talk about. It's a great conversation piece, but that's what it is to me. There's no validity to it. I don't take anything about it seriously. No, you know what I mean? Like that's
Yeah.
where, and honestly, knowing people I work with that do talk about the flat earth, they do it to troll people.
Yeah.
The people that I work with, at least, do it to troll people, to fuck with people, which is fine. But you have people making hundreds of videos about why this is fact and why it's real and why we're all full of shit for not believing them. So if you have a valid why they're doing this and why, and you can have, I can ask you questions and you have A, B, and C answers, I'd be more than happy to listen to you. But for the time being, you telling me, not you guys specifically, but a person telling me or a video trying to explain to me that I'm an idiot for not believing, great. I will be an idiot until you give me a valid reason why I should believe you. I will continue to be the idiot that I've been my entire life. Thus far, worked out pretty fucking well, because I don't know if you've seen me, pretty fucking awesome.
Yeah.
So,
And I'm not in a I'm not in a position in my life where knowing if the Earth is flat or round is a big deal to me. Like, if I fly somewhere, fine, just get me to that place. I don't care if we're doing it on a flat Earth map or if we're doing it on a round map. I just get me to that spot, whatever you need to do. Like, I think
Here's money for me to go from here to here.
Yeah.
How you map that out,
Yeah.
your own business.
I don't care. I'm not a pilot. I'm not an astronaut. I'm not a sniper.
Excuse me.
I'm not in certain positions to where I need to know what the Earth is doing. It's none of my business. So I think a lot of people waste a lot of time trying to explain things that are none of their business to explain, instead of just focusing on their life at the present moment. And
I don't think everybody's capable of that.
What's that?
Focusing on them.
Well,
on
one
life.
of the hits
So
that
many
me and
people, their entire lives are based on worrying about what everybody else is doing.
yeah,
me and Dale have gotten some pretty heated arguments about conspiracy theory, and
Okay.
what?
We have?
Yeah, there's been a couple times where you're like, well, fuck you, because that's.
No, I never did.
Well, there's
I
one
think that
time
was
I
you.
thought you, maybe it was me thinking you were slightly annoyed because
Were
we
you
went on for a
projecting?
while.
Maybe.
I don't think I was projecting. I think I was assuming, but it was.
I don't care because there's no conspiracy theory that I 100% believe at all. I just think that there's things.
Oh, you know what? I know what I'm talking about. I know exactly the time I'm talking about. Because you use the exact same explanation we were talking about something. I'm like, well, that's like worrying about conspiracy or people that look up conspiracy theories. I mean, cool, you want to believe something different, but it doesn't benefit you if you're just pissed off about it all the time. And Dale looked at me like, I like looking up the shit on conspiracy theories. I find it, and that's the explanation you went to. I don't believe them. I just find it interesting the alternate explanations for what could have happened, because some of them are pretty valid, and some of them aren't.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was so maybe it was just that was me
Your
projecting.
perspective.
Yeah,
Some of them are just batshit crazy, and I
Yeah,
find it
those are fun.
entertaining.
Yeah.
because you have sent me those and I laugh at those.
Yeah.
But like that to me, it doesn't benefit you. But again, I'm not everybody, and everybody's not me. That's like what we were talking about before. When people say you should do this, why don't you live your life the way I want you to live it, and I'll live my life the way you want me to live mine? Well, I'm not going to do that. Well, then why the fuck are you expecting me to do it? I mean, there's stuff that worrying about conspiracy theories is somebody's shit. That's their happy spot. They're a pig in sop when they're doing that. And when they're fucking trying to make a cutting board, they're like, this is fucking stupid. Why? Because that's what makes them happy.
Yeah.
Fucking high five, do that.
Yeah.
If you want to spend your life researching flat Earth, great. I mean, if you find out that the Earth is flat, fucking worthy cause, man. Great job. To this point, I don't see the point in arguing that it is or isn't. So it matters not at all to me.
Mm-hmm.
The reason I don't like watching the videos personally is because it's the same conversation we have when we're talking about politics. This is what's right. Well, I don't believe that. Well, you're fucking stupid.
Yeah.
This is what's, and that's what I don't like, politically especially, because it's always, this is what you should be worrying about, and if you don't, you're a piece of shit and you're going to hell, or you're a piece of shit and you're an idiot and you don't give a fuck about the country. Like, no, I don't care
You're
about what you care about.
uneducated.
And remember that conversation I had with you about people, when people are given their opinion, they forget to say, in my opinion, blah
Or I
blah.
think, yeah.
This is what I think. People don't say that anymore. So when people put shit on YouTube, and when somebody's watching it, they're like, oh, this is gospel. I must listen.
Yeah.
Whereas if they started out, in my opinion, this is what I believe. And I think people would look at things differently, especially with all this flat earther stuff or conspiracy theories, instead of taking it as like, this is gospel.
There, as an example of that, was it last year? The year? Well, it's an ongoing fucking conversation, but it kind of got stomped when gay marriage became legalized.
Mm-hmm.
During that argument, people were telling me, "Well, this is all. I don't have a problem with gay marriage. You want to go? Because if somebody's gonna get married, everybody should be able to get married." That's just basically how I feel about it. If I can do it, you should be able to do it, and that's it. We need to go lobby for. No, I fucking don't. Why? Because it doesn't affect me in that way. If you're asking me my opinion of it, I think this should be fair. I also don't think that if you want to smoke pot, people should tell you not to smoke pot. If you want to wreck your body with meth and heroin and everything under the sun, great. Don't go to a hospital that I pay taxes for to get cured. Mm-hmm. Is that an ugly thing to say? Yeah, it's very fucking ugly. It's also your personal choice with your personal body, and you should be able to do with your body as you fucking please, because it's your body.
But that's your opinion.
That's my opinion. That's how I feel about it. Now, Am I going to lobby for people to legalize meth? No. Am I going to lobby for people to legalize marijuana? No. Why? Because I don't smoke marijuana. It doesn't matter to me. I'm not trying to marry a man. That doesn't matter to me either. My opinion of it is, if I can marry my wife, anybody should be able to marry whoever they want to marry.
Mm-hmm.
Am I going to go to a protest for it? Probably not. On that scope, it doesn't matter to me. Because I'm not going through that. If my sister asked or you asked, like, hey, I'll sign something, I'll support you. But to care about everything the way, well, you don't care about tobacco. No, I smoke. Well, you're a part of the problem. Okay, well then don't come to my house because I smoke in my backyard. If it bothers you, don't come to my house. Well, I should be able to walk around where the fuck I want. I should be able to smoke where the fuck I want. I'm doing it to myself. I think I should. In my opinion, I should be able to. But that's how I feel about it. So when it comes to the flat Earth thing, this is what I think it is. Okay, cool. Well, when people smarter than me agree with you, respected scientists, stuff like that, great. Global warming was a huge thing. We were losing a centimeter of ice every whatever, and they came out with the scientist told me this, and the scientist is like, I never said that, and no fucking scientist would. Well, maybe I misunderstood him, but global warming's still a thing. Well, it's not happening, but climate change is. Okay, cool. How am I fixing that?
This also reminds me of, like, have you ever noticed that when you think about going to buy a vehicle, like, I know there's one time before I bought my second Tacoma.
You adjusted your shirt and I thought it was like a dealership shirt.
Oh.
You were like, when I went to go buy my... I was like, oh.
No, but before I bought my second Tacoma, that's all I saw. Because I was focused in on that, and that's what I wanted. So that's all I focused in on. Even though there were Tacomas all around me before then, but when I became interested in that or focused in on that, that's all I saw. So if you believe in something, that's all you're going to see, whether it's truth or not.
Yeah.
So if you want to believe it, you'll see it. And I think that's what's happening to a lot of the flat earthers, is that they believe it so hard, so much, that that's all they see. They don't see anything outside of that. All these other things that play into it.
Another faith-based belief.
Yeah. So I mean, if all you believe that the world is full of demons, well, then that's all you're going to see. But you're not going to see all this other stuff.
Reptilians, excuse me.
Oh, sorry, my bad, reptilians. But you're not going to see all these other
The
beautiful
demons, dude.
Oh,
The explanation that we saw on the thing is demons. Sorry, I didn't mean to
okay.
interrupt, but Dale said demons.
But you're not going to see
anyway.
all these other beautiful things that are going on around you because you're so focused in on that. You'll let it consume you.
Maybe consumption. People used to die of consumption.
Yeah. Mhm.
Maybe consumption's good. You like woodworking, you that consumes you.
It has consumed me, and I'm actually a part of me is getting.
Well, you're still in the fray because you had to have an argument with yourself about not going to buy more woodworking shit when you're trying to have a day off. So you're still in the fray.
Yeah, still afraid. But I'm finding out that I've been so focused on it that I'm kind of burned out a little bit. But it's not going to stop me from doing the projects or the business or whatever. But I feel like
I'm gonna get my fix.
But I feel like I just need a mental break from it because that's all I was seeing for a while, and that's all I was focused. What? That was creepy. What?
What? No.
What did you do? That was weird.
I missed it. I was looking at the kitty.
You wish I was making stuff up.
So, damn it, Tubbs. So anyway, so that's all I was seeing for a while. Was all this woodworking. I was basically obsessed with it.
Yeah.
So it's not a good thing. I mean, I'm very passionate about it, but I don't know. But hold on. It is a good thing, but at the same time, like that's not all who I am.
Oh, that's all
I'm
you
not saying that right.
Yeah, that's not all I am.
That's
That's
not
what
all
you
I am. Thank you. So I was forgetting about all the stuff that also makes who I am.
It encompassed your entire being.
Yeah.
I think that concept or that personal view can be applied to basically everything.
Oh yeah.
I know one example in politics is like I've seen so many Republicans they so much hate or dislike Democrats that I've watched YouTube videos of some very strong Republican guys out shooting guns. They're doing like gun reviews and stuff like that, and everything they said had to do with this would piss the Democrats off.
Oh yeah.
People become so focused on what they hate or like that's all they can see.
Yeah. I heard something like that was just, it was said beautifully or in a perfect manner. This lady was looking for a relationship, and this person said, well, that's not all who you are. Having somebody there, that's just part of who you are, but that's not all of you.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
I am nothing.
yeah, I'm nothing
I
without
think
a
some-
relationship.
I
And
think
it's like,
some-
are you really?
I think some people let that become everything they are.
Yeah, when you start recognizing that something's not, or when you acknowledge or you make it a fact that something is not there, then you're going to consume yourself with that thing to make sure it's there.
Yeah.
And it's not always going to be the best results.
But isn't that kind of what we're like overall? What we're kind of after? Like we're all after a reason. Like was it the meaning of life? We're all trying to fulfill life. I mean, I think it's what you choose to fulfill it with, and for some people, it is a relationship. I think. What I'm saying is, I don't. The way you made it sound was like a pejorative, like it was unhealthy. But I think if your entire goal is to be like a wife or a husband, be a wife or a husband. I don't think that's everybody's goal, though.
I mean, in the sense like it's going to be your goal the minute you wake up till the minute you go to bed. That's going to be your goal to find somebody. So if you find somebody, you could possibly settle for something that may not be good for you, just because you're like, oh, I found somebody. They're there. I'm going to hold on to them, and
Well,
we're in a
sad.
relationship. Yeah, it is sad, but if you continue to be yourself and enjoy the things that you enjoy doing. That
Well,
makes
that's-
you
that's-
you,
that's-
and if somebody comes along and enjoys those same things,
That's where I meant that.
yeah,
That's where I meant that. Not
Yeah.
in the settle for anybody. In the maybe yourself is like at 18 you decide I want to have kids and I want to go to PTA meetings and I want to be an awesome mom and I want to be a housewife. These are the things that I want out of life.
right. And there's
That's what will fulfill my life.
yeah, and that's fine. But where I'm saying that if you are, Dale, do you understand what I'm saying?
I think I get what
so.
you're saying, but I think from the same point of view, look at it as woodworking. Look at being everything I just described out of being wanting a relationship and being a mom and consider all that as woodworking. You've sacrificed stuff in your life to do what you're doing right now outside of work, outside of where we work. You sacrifice time, energy, in some cases in this Arizona heat, your health.
Yeah.
That's not healthy. That's not a healthy thing to do, but you love what you're doing. Now, apply that to a relationship where somebody gets to do all the things they like to do, but they deal with kind of a dick. It's the same thing. Mm-hmm. That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not saying it's either one of them's healthy or not healthy. I'm saying if that's somebody's life goal to be like the perfect, I make the best cookies. I want to be the best cookie maker on my block. Or even a husband that's like, I want to have a wife and the best fucking grass in the yard, and
Yeah.
I want this to be. They will sacrifice things in their life that everybody else thinks like you shouldn't deal with that shit. Well, no, this is my shit. This is why I got into this.
I think that if you look at it from, you don't have very high self-esteem about yourself, and you think that you're nothing without a relationship, and if somebody comes along, then you're going to think, oh,
From that point of view, yes, I do agree.
see, that's where,
If that's your entire reason for being,
yeah,
and you chase it to an unhealthy extent,
Yeah,
maybe.
if you-
But at the same time, you can apply
Well-
both to both the situations though.
but that person that you just described, that wife that you just described, or the husband you just described, if that's what they want, and if that makes them happy, then that's fine. But they're not going to stop living their life thinking that, oh, I'm missing this. I'm not this person yet. I'm not this person yet until I have this person in my life. Well, when the right person comes along that matches up with you, then you're going to be those things. But until then, you have to live your life still. Like, you have to continue to do the things that you enjoy doing. Like, you can't stop.
You can't be a mom and a wife without a husband and a kid.
Well, what I'm trying to say is you can't stop being you if that thing is not there. Like, if you stop being you, you are so disconnected from yourself. You're going to be negative.
The reason I brought up that particular argument is because I know somebody whose husband is actually pretty cool. I'm not saying he's a shitbag because he's not, but somebody whose kind of life goal was to be that. From the moment, like, and they went to college too. From the moment they were in school, they knew that they wanted to have kids, live in a nice house, and be a housewife and a home mom. That was their shit.
Mm-hmm.
They are a mom. They don't work, and they have a garden in the backyard. And her entire like shit is: I wake up, the kids go to school. I do this. I work on this. I work on this. I work on this. The kids come home. I do this. That's their joy.
Yeah.
I think it can break down to if everybody or most people that can be honest with themselves, the goal of life is to do things that, or to realize that life is short and you're not going to be here that long, and do things that make you happy and things that benefit you, and to try to basically base most everything. It's not possible to base everything, but most everything that you do in your life off of those two ideas. I think agree. That you can. I think you have a very fulfilled and happy life.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what makes people happy is different from person to person. So I mean, you can't tell people, "Oh, well, you're not doing that, so you're not going to be happy." So
yeah.
Well, that was I heard maybe it was on a podcast, maybe it was a conversation. I don't have very many friends, so it's a podcast. The conversation, man, I wish if it was a podcast, I wish I remember the podcast so I can say which it was from. But it was a conversation they were having where they were talking about a bad relationship is what it was. So it might have been a relationship podcast. I don't know why I listened to those. I'm married, but they were saying that if you're with somebody that makes you unhappy, look at the times that you're unhappy, and look at the times that you're happy overall, and the happy should outweigh the unhappy. And I think that's basically life. You look at stuff that makes you happy, or your happiness gauge in life. Taking outside money, taking outside all that stuff, because people say, well, when you have money, it's easy to say you're happy. No, it's fucking not, because we didn't have any money. I'm a pretty happy kid. I had shitty stuff happen to me, but shitty stuff happens to everybody. Nobody's impervious to that. Shitty stuff's gonna happen to people. But overall in your life, your goal should be to have a higher happy count than you like a super low unhappy count. I would think.
Well, I think at that
in
time,
my opinion.
I think what happens with people is that they focus on what they don't have, and it starts to bring them down. Well, they bring themselves down, and so like if you always think like I'll never have enough money or I don't have enough money, you're right. You will never have enough money if you keep focusing on that, that mindset. Whereas if you just get happy where you are and think, you know what, I can still pay my bills, I still have a roof over my head or whatever. Get happy with where you are, and then go after what you want. But it's the focusing on the lack of what you don't have is what can get you into that negative downward spiral of never finding out a way to achieve those things that you do want in your life. You get used to the negativity, so when something comes along that's good, you're like, oh. Yeah.
It's not as good as this.
Yeah, it's not as good as this. It could be better. You're focusing, your expectations of that thing is so high that when it does come along and they don't fulfill those expectations that you set for that, then nothing's ever going to be good enough because you focus so much on what you don't have that you created this perfect thing that will never exist.
Mm-hmm.
Word.
So back on topic.
Flat Earth.
Flat Earthers, the ones that are so focused on trying to prove to everybody in the around the Earth that the Earth is flat
in all areas of the Earth.
are unhappy with themselves.
Well, that's like with when we were talking about, and we actually didn't talk about this on the podcast, but with it's a pretty hot topic. Actually, I'm not even sure I should say it, but with the gender thing, the different genders, and there's X amount of genders. Cool. Well, no, you have to call me that. No, I don't. I really don't. My wife has a friend that's bisexual that once told me when you run into a transgender or a man dressed as a woman, it's polite to refer to them as what they're presenting themselves as. Ma'am, sir, depending on who it is, or what they're presenting themselves as. And I was like, oh, okay. And I did that. That was my choice to be polite to do that. Because I'm a human being. I'm me, and they're them. And I think I showed you both the video where this person was livid that somebody said ma'am. Off the cuff, just livid, and was basically throwing, you're a cisgender piece of shit, and this and that. Because you don't understand. Well, you said it yourself that you barely started understanding your own gender, and you expect a person that you've never met to know your entire back history. Well, it's a lot politer to do this. You're right. It is a lot politer to ask somebody that. Why the fuck do people have to be polite? Does it make the world better? 50-50. Sometimes yes, sometimes no. But like I've told you guys before, well, you shouldn't be racist. I disagree. If you're a racist, show people you're racist. Be openly racist so I can look at you and go, that guy's a racist, don't want to hang out with him. He fucking hates Mexicans. If he hates Mexicans, maybe we shouldn't be hanging out. He's openly racist. What's his problem? That's it. It's not his problem. He's happy with it. I'm the one that has the issue with it. Now I know I'm not. I don't need to hang out with that guy.
That's why I love tattoos so much, because it really, most of the time, 99% of the time, shows you exactly what kind of person you're dealing with.
I don't know.
Why?
I've seen some fucking curveballs.
Exactly. That tells you everything you need to know about that person.
I saw somebody with a Harley Davidson tattoo. And I was like, oh, yeah, but you ride. No.
Wasn't a dedication
Okay.
to his grandfather.
So now
That's
you know.
not the story I heard.
Well, okay, so I think was it Wednesday? Yeah, I got my hair cut. And I wouldn't say it was like long, but it was longer for me. And right after she cut my hair off, I told my hairdresser, I was like, watch, people are going to start calling me sir or whatever again. And she's like, what? I'm like, no, I'm serious. It makes a difference. When I was starting to grow my hair out.
Rachel, you look like a fine young man right now with your hair.
Thanks. When I was starting to grow my hair out, like, I was not called sir or whatever. But even though I was
Did anybody call you broad? Because that would be awesome.
I have been called broad. Not to my face, but behind my back.
Favorite word? Well, that's mean.
That pissed
Really?
me off.
I
Yeah.
love broad. I don't
Long
know why.
story. But I wore the same clothing. I did nothing different. But my hair was longer. But now that my hair is shorter.
Is it fucked up that I walk around people giving them $2 and tell them to call you sir? Is that an approach? Probably not.
Damn, we got money. That's a lot of people.
Well, I'm doing pretty well. Also, you left your wallet in my truck. But go on.
So, I think that I will say that it does bother me a little bit when I do get called sir or whatever.
I just did it assuming you had a wallet instead of a purse.
That's okay. I
No,
don't
I just
have
did the
purses.
sir thing. I've never seen you with a purse, but you'd have a wallet one time, so.
Yeah, but I used to carry little bags. Anyways, back.
I know somebody else carries a European carry-all. But go on.
Oh my god, I can't.
There were some inside jokes for us. I'm sorry about that. Sorry, Dancy.
So, but the only reason why it bothers me is because in my mind, I obviously view myself as a female. I got all the parts, so I view myself as a female. So when somebody calls me sir, I'm like, how do you? What? Because I just got short hair and I wear guys' clothes because they fit better on me. Because girls' shirts look like halter tops on me because I'm so long waisted. But I'm like, I don't. So it's hard for me to. I guess.
I can get you a shirt that says I have a vagina. That way it's not like a question. The good thing is you have to order them in sets of 15, so like you would have enough for the whole week.
Yeah.
I got you, fam.
So I think that the world does judge a book by its cover. So I know for me personally, I just need to let it go and just kind of laugh it off or whatever, because it's like whatever. But I don't know. What if your sister wanted to like change your gender or whatever? Would you still call her your sister?
What? My sister want to change her gender?
Yeah. Would you still? Would you change? Would you look at her as a guy, or would you?
Actually, that's a really good question because that would take some deep thought. I don't know. I've always known her my sister. I'm 12. I would know it was my sister. It would be really difficult, but also sexually. You know, I've been trying to do that away from the microphone this whole time.
That's why I didn't.
My sister has always been my sister.
Mm-hmm.
Going on 30 years now, she's been my sister. No, it's over 30 years. She's been my sister, so that would be a difficult alteration. But like when I have people the gay thing with some people.
What's a thing?
It's a thing.
The gay thing.
It's a phase. You'll grow out of it. No, but seriously, like a lot of the stuff that I've heard, or from parents' point of view, from older generations, whatever the fuck you want to call it, from that point of view, it's very much like, well, what about the grandkids? And I've had people tell me, like I had this conversation one day where somebody's like, what if your son was gay? I was like, I have 2 sisters. My mom's never had sex with her boyfriends. Why do you say that? Because I don't plan on fucking whoever my son dates. So why is it my business who he dates? Like, if I were smashing on his girlfriends, one, they better be fucking hot because your mom's going to beat my ass. But I don't, so why would it matter to me?
Yeah.
I know what I like in bed, and if he likes that, that's weird because that's my wife, and that's his mom. So that's a little weird. But you see what I'm saying, though? Like,
yeah.
Why is it my business who he bangs or who he's with, who makes him happy?
Yeah.
It's not.
Or what gender. Or...
Yeah, like, how awesome. Like, your sisters married?
Yes.
Directly, how do their husbands affect you? Directly, I mean, like, they did? Okay. So, why would it bother you whether they were male or female?
It doesn't.
Besides their personality, it wouldn't fucking affect you at all.
No, it doesn't bother me.
Males are assholes, women's are assholes. Like, that part of it, nothing at all. So, that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm like, well, then, are you banging your kids, like, girlfriends? Why does it bother you? That's... Mm-hmm. Well, they're not going to be able to have kids. Adopt. There's a shitload of kids that are in the foster system. Adopt a fucking kid. Mm-hmm. Neil Patrick Harris. That guy's fucking awesome. Him and his husband, happy as shit. Bunch of kids.
Yeah.
Why is that? Like, there's no... Every point has a counterpoint to why it's fine. You're harping on something for yourself, not for somebody else. Mm-hmm. We looked at something else. Sorry. Thus far...
So...
Did you have that kind of thing when we started?
No, not since we started.
So,
just about 10 minutes after.
So if your sister did change genders, would you still refer to her as your sister?
I'm sure I'd refer to it as whatever she told me to refer. Oh, this is not a good answer. I'm still kind of a fucking asshole.
What about you, Dale?
She's changed her genders and she said she was a male. I'd say this is my brother.
My bro.
If she was like, I identify as, I'm like, well, fucking pick one because it's going to be black and white. Or I'm just going to say, popped out of the same vagina. This person's name is. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to... That's arrogance and slight ignorance on my part.
Right.
More ignorance probably, but at the same time, I've told you, that's not something that concerns me. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to look at the minutia of exactly what she wants me to call her. If she says, blah, blah, blah. If she says, hey, go and fucking innie to Audi, high five, be healthy, do you, boo. And she says, my name's Mark now. This is my brother Mark.
White name.
What was it like growing up with a brother? I don't fucking know. Because I have 2 sisters that used to torture me because I'm the youngest of 3. So fucking apparently this is a new thing, but I'm taller than her so I can beat her ass. Maybe.
Oh, you're no longer my sister? I'm supposed to just forget everything you did?
I don't have a sister now.
As a brother, I've been great to you.
Basically. Like, it's like with parents, Mike Birbiglia said, my parents are awesome. I wouldn't talk to them at a party, but I love my parents. I told my mom that one and she's like, yeah, I can see that. Fair enough.
I will say, just a personal Okay, that's fine.
Just joking.
This is like a personal confession of mine. Like, you would think that.
Oh, great. I was kidding.
You know, hey guys, guess what?
Just go ahead and pause, go to the restroom, and then come back. It's going to be a while.
So people would automatically assume, oh, because you're a lesbian, you should be very open-minded to whatever. Well, no, because I used to be pretty close-minded to outside groups like
Mexican?
bisexuals or transgenders,
sure.
blah blah. Because I never put myself in a situation, or I wasn't never in a situation to get to know the person other than just like, you're bisexual, well, fucking pick something and go with it, you know, or
so
you're
greedy.
transgender, or, you know, but now, because, what?
I was just thinking of what I told you when we talked. For those of you who don't know Rachel, she's talked about being a lesbian on this podcast. When I worked with Rachel, I think I worked with her for 4 or 5 years. Well, I've worked with her now for well over 10, 11. Gross.
A long time.
That's not fun.
No,
Anyway,
you should quit.
one of the one of the things I brought up to her is that she never actually told anybody she was lesbian. It never came up in conversation. It never. Nobody asked. And honestly, it's nobody's business unless they ask you. Unless it's a dude trying to hit on you, like, oh, sorry, I'm lesbian. Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's cute.
But
Nice try. Got a sister?
but
Your girlfriend's cute.
I slightly forgot the point I wanted to make there. What were we talking
I
about?
never made it a big deal.
No.
It wasn't.
You were talking about something that popped into my head, and
I was talking about bisexuals making.
oh yeah. Well, the joke, the reason I started laughing before that break that I completely forgot what I was talking about was that when Rachel, when we had talked about it, she said my girlfriend. I was like, oh, this and that. I don't think we ever actually posted like, oh, you're lesbian, crazy. I like that too. High five.
Yeah, I never came up and said hi. I'm lesbian, also known as Rachel.
I immediately walk up to people, hey, straight Tubbs. Like that's just so there's no confusion. Especially with big guys, because I want to make sure
But
for sure.
$20,
$20. Hashtag gift for pay. But I told her, I was like, I fucking hate lesbians. And she looked at me like, what the fuck? And I was like, I don't mind gay people because they make less men in the pool. Lesbians
They take out the competition.
really fucking hit the competition hard. And I'm kind of a piece of shit, so I like to know that I got an in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't like lesbians standing out that herd. Okay, guys, high five to them.
Yeah.
They're just taking one for the team, my team at least.
But what I was gonna say, back to my
Sorry.
point, like for like the past couple years or so, I've been wanting to be surrounded by people to expand my horizons, to kind of like question like some of my beliefs or opinions about certain groups or whatever. And
So you're dating dudes now?
no.
Okay.
So, like, I've gotten to know some people, and it's like I've forgotten, like, I've taken gender out of the role or what their sexual orientation is, whether they're bisexual, whatever. And it's like I've just gotten to know the person, and from there, it's just like it doesn't matter if they change genders or who they're sleeping with. It's just, it doesn't matter to me anymore because I appreciate the person more than just that one thing about them. Because like I said, going back to that one thing, like you're not that one thing, you're multiple things. So it doesn't matter if somebody wants to change their gender or if they want to sleep with a guy or a girl or whatever.
To make it really weird, I think part of it, like when I found out my sister was a lesbian, it's not like it was some great epitome when we had a conversation. It was just like she talked to me. She's like, "Oh, by the way, I got a girlfriend." I was like, "Oh, crazy, me too." But
What's her name?
she hot? She does smash? I'm just saying, keep it in the family. No, it wasn't immediate, but I did have a thought. Like, was she hiding like something? Because I don't know why she would hide it from me. Maybe she didn't know. And I remember having that thought process, but that was not her issue. That had nothing to do with her. That was me thinking inside of myself, like, maybe she didn't want to tell me because she thought I was a piece of shit. Because you guys have seen me, and I say this with slight fucking, arrogance. I've been a pretty decent human being around you people, artists.
That's
No,
my
I've been a pretty
You
decent
can
human
ask
being.
us.
Yeah.
I didn't take a
You're
survey.
assuming.
But we
You're
high fived,
speculating.
so I assume we're good. So I assume you've
That's
seen me
your
not be a
opinion.
shitty person. But I say that to also
Perception.
say you've also seen me be a fucking asshole to people.
Oh, there's a difference?
Yeah.
Oh.
Not by much.
Oh.
I mean, I think I'll help you, but I'm also not going to kiss your ass to help you. Like, you need help, I'll help you. If you want me to kiss your ass and help you, you got
Yeah.
problems. But I think, like, part of me was internalized a lot of, like, maybe she didn't tell me because she thought I'd be a piece of shit about it.
Mm-hmm.
And that was something that was, she had nothing to do with. That was me putting that on me. But I remember thinking, like, maybe she was fake with me about something because she thought she couldn't trust me, or, you know what I mean?
I think, well, coming from my experience.
But that's my opinion and my point of view. It had nothing to do with what my sister was doing, her own thing. That was just me internalized. Sorry, I just wanted to say that before. Just, that had nothing to do with her or how she treated me,
Well,
just myself.
because I'm kind of an expert on this.
How are you an expert?
Because I had to come out. Well, I didn't have
You've
to. I
only been a
chose
lesbian
to.
for like so many times. There's lesbians that are like 70, so let's easy.
I had a girlfriend.
Easy with K with the custom
I
expert
had
word,
I had
okay?
a girlfriend in first grade. Okay, so
You had a girlfriend in first grade? Yeah, so did I. Don't brag. Good shit.
But I know for me, like when you're exposing something about yourself that's not the norm, you get worried. You get worried if you're going to lose certain family members that you actually would love to stay in your life. Or I know, like when I told my older sister, I was worried that I wouldn't get to see my nephews again because I had this perspective or this opinion on my brother-in-law that he was this redneck in America all the way and fuck everybody else. And so when I told her, I was honestly worried, and she was like, "Well, how do you guys have sex?" And I'm like, "Oh, Jesus Christ, like serious?"
I think
I'm
I
like,
said that
I
before.
put myself through hell. I put myself through hell for months. And you worry about if we scissor or not?
What an
I'm like,
idiot.
what the fuck?
Basically, you guys scissor all the time.
Yeah.
That's the
And
only
I'm
move you
like,
got.
oh, okay, well, I'm good. And I told her, I was like, I was worried I won't be able to see my nephews again or whatever. And
She's like,
she
you're
goes,
not having
"No."
sex in front of them, are you?
Right? And she's like, no. And it's just like you do get worried if you're going to lose certain family members or whatever else. And it is, you do set yourself up for.
Yeah,
well,
well, it's
not set
pretty,
yourself
look,
up.
It's a big thing, I'd assume.
It is a big thing, and you do worry about people's opinions because, once again, it's not the norm. But you're trying to do something that makes you happy, and it's unfortunate that society's like, you have to be this way. You have to have 2.5 kids and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, well, no, you don't.
Fuck you having 0.5 of a kid.
I don't know, it's what society deems. But it's tough. It's a very hard thing. Like, it was hard for me to tell my parents, and they're like, well, we always knew. And I'm like, well, fuck Jesus. Like, well, you had to find out on your
Well,
own.
fucking Jesus and shit is probably the reason that you, like, they're, like, not okay with it.
Yeah, and like, well, you had to find out for yourself. And I'm like,
But if you just...
it's fucking great, but...
Being a lesbian for dummies.
But it, yeah, but it is true. Even if they say, hey, Rachel, you know what, you're going to grow up to be a lesbian. We see it. We see it in your future. Like, it's okay.
And you're, like,
and you're
fucking
like, 16.
Like, I just thought overalls were really cool.
Yeah. So it's a very tough thing when you have family members that are really close to you and you want them to stay in your life, and you're trying to say, hey, I'm different than somebody else, than
And they're like,
what
gross.
society wants me to be.
And they stop talking to you.
I can
Well-
understand that completely on a much smaller, less significant scale, but there's been people like that I've met, and when they see my art, they don't want anything to do with me. Like,
Yeah.
That scares the shit out of them, and all of a sudden I'm the most evil person. But up until that point, they thought I was normal.
Way to
I'm
make
pretty
things
sure
about
I'm normal.
you.
Huh?
It's a way to make things about you.
No, I'm just saying.
I know. No, well, it makes perfect sense of what you were saying. If it's outside the normal and you're
Yeah.
exposing that to somebody,
That's
then
all I was saying.
they're gonna judge it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Yeah.
normal as fuck, basically. So what's you two people?
Mm-hmm.
All that business.
Huh.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not normal as fuck.
I don't know. It's a tough thing to admit that you're different than what society wants you to be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well,
And-
being on the other side of that, as I'm an expert in, because that happened to me once.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that was the only thing that really struck me was that I was like, oh, maybe I was a piece of shit, and that's why she didn't think she could share that with me. Part of me had that genuine thought, like, wow, what a fucking.
Have you
how much of a
actually
piece
sat
of
down and
shit.
talked to her?
Fuck no.
Oh, why would you do that?
I love her. That's all she needs to know.
Yeah.
She wants to talk about feelings. Fucking call somebody else. I don't give a shit about that.
Yeah.
No, she has. We have talked about it. Like we talked about it like one time where it was just like conversation of, is it somebody who makes you happy? Yeah, because I don't give a fuck if you have a penis or a vagina. If you're being a fucking cunt to my sister, I'll punch you in the neck. Unless you're really, really big, I'll get somebody else to punch you in the neck.
Dale, what do you think? You have a sister.
About what?
I don't know.
Yeah, she's my sister. I love her. No,
Mm.
I'm not. I don't know. Basically, what Tubbs said. Isn't
Yeah,
it?
it's
no
just
difference. I mean,
it's
Yeah.
like I'm not, and that's why I thought it was funny because that's in my head. That's how I approached it. When somebody actually told me like, "Well, what if your son's gay?" I was like, "Well, what if my son's gay? What if my son likes fucking? What if my son hates hunting? I'm not gonna fucking attack him for it. He just doesn't like hunting."
Manicures, manicures. Go
I
get
go-
your nails.
Yeah, we haven't gone in a long while. I usually go with April.
Mm-hmm.
If you guys haven't had a pedicure at this one place in town here, like
One
they
place,
do
there's
some
like
legit-
20 of them.
I don't know, that little lady like does the thighs thing. I don't care what people touching my thighs.
Mm.
I don't know why we're getting on fucking pedicures. Not thighs, my calves. She was touching my thighs. She could get real.
I was trying to imagine, like, what would she be doing with your...
the upper inner thigh massage.
Is that a happy ending?
No. Well, I finished, but she wasn't expecting it. Don't do my pinky toe like that. You're not gonna like what happens. No, but no, it was just basically what it came down to. Is I don't. My mom's never banged my sister's boyfriend. Why am I worried about who my
Yeah.
son bangs?
Yeah.
If it's somebody that makes him happy, I mean,
Yeah.
not who am I to judge? I mean, he's my son, so I do have to, like, at this stage of his life, I do have to talk to him about shit he's doing. But when it comes to that, like, I don't care.
I don't
Unless
know
they're
if
an
this...
asshole. Because if you're an asshole, you're just an asshole.
I don't know.
Regardless of your gender or not gender.
Well, this... I don't know if this relates or not, but... so when my sister taught at Yuma High, she was asked by...
Great, I know where the venue.
she was asked by a fellow teacher, like, hey, like, do you ever try to set your sister up with, and she's like, no, it's her thing, like, she'll,
I don't think my sisters could set me up. I am 6'2". I weigh upwards of 300 pounds. I am the biggest and tallest in my family. I'm a little bit scared of my older sister, and a little bit less scared of my middle sister. My sisters are fucking sweethearts. They will help you when they can, but they can be fucking mean. And I love my sisters to pieces. So if they had to find somebody for me, that is not the kind of person I want to date. Like, hey, I hope everything goes well. Why, what's up?
Sharpie.
Because your sisters hooked me up with, your sisters told me I should go on a date with you. Did they hurt you? Blink if they're watching. Because they're sweethearts, but they do not fuck with people fucking with me. And they're, like, a smaller. And I remember in high school a couple times that I was getting taller than them, rather. I ain't scared. Well, I fucking would be because they're fucking mean.
Yeah, I think if I ever asked my sister, hey, would you set me up with somebody, I think she would take him through an interrogation before,
Yeah, that's...
because she has not been a fan of some of my ex-girlfriends, which is understandable.
I've met some of your ex-girlfriends. I understand. Trust me, guys. For those of you who haven't, understandable.
I had some good ones,
Yeah, no, yeah, some great ones.
but
I love talking
There's
to
always
some of them.
one.
The ones I've talked to. The one that I'm thinking of specifically, I, like, want to kick really hard.
yeah, a lot of people did. But
No, not like kick, walk up. I mean MMA, just fucking... She's a fucking bad human being.
Yeah.
Like, human being, not person, just
Yeah.
human being.
yeah, but I think she
But you
would.
dated her, so that's your fault.
Yeah, I was, but not more. But I think she would interrogate them, and yeah,
Oh, yeah,
So-
definitely. What have you
So-
told your sister, Dale? We both talked about our sisters.
About what?
Like, your sister had to find you somebody. How do you think she'd go about that?
I have no idea.
would she interrogate him first before
No, probably not. I think
put him through a American Warrior?
I don't know. I think my sister and I, we both respect each other's judgment on
Mhm.
things.
I'll talk to your sister about that. We can change that.
Okay. But yeah, but I know. Speaking from my own perspective, like I personally don't care who my sister's with as long as they're not a piece of shit.
Yeah.
You know,
Hmm.
but I think she probably feels the same way.
Yeah. Yeah, I think. Yeah, I definitely know that's my sisters. That's always been the opinion of my parents and my sisters. Like, don't care if you're with a girl, just
Mm.
make sure.
You should probably be with a woman. I don't mean
I
to
mean,
age
well-
you, but, like, don't be with girls. That's weird.
Okay, with the woman, that was weird.
That was.
You made that weird.
I know.
Thanks.
That was my goal.
As long as she's not a piece of shit, you know.
I want everybody to be happy. That's what I
Yeah,
want.
well, we
Like,
were talking about that even when we were talking about the one topic we got to this episode.
Yeah, that's fine.
Was your goal is to be happy, and I mean, I think anybody get in the way of that. I honestly think not to get into a whole nother conversation because honestly, guys, if you guys are curious why me and Rachel keep laughing, is because Dale tries to keep the episode somewhat listen toable. And we were supposed to start
about an
about
hour.
15 minutes ago. But no, I think honestly it comes down to when somebody's unhappy with your situation, why does my situation benefit you and how are you benefiting negatively from it and why should I care about that?
Mm-hmm.
Because you're going to have those people. You have a relationship where maybe your girlfriend, everybody in this particular room, as far as I know, your girlfriend, she's like this. In my case, my wife, I don't know why I said, oh, except for me, I have a wife. Would say, well, why is she, well, it's my wife. That's she doesn't agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're willing to give that up, cool. But if it's somebody outside of that, well, you shouldn't be doing this. Well, I'm living my life, you're living yours.
Mm-hmm.
Five. With the negativity in the,
Yeah.
what I was getting at.
Mm.
I had a different point, but before I pointed out the timer, I didn't. I stopped and lost my train of thought.
So should we call it right here?
Yeah.
I think we should call it right here. Hopefully, we will finish the rest of the topics we planned and the segments in the next episode.
Yeah.
But for now, love each other. That sounded
Yes.
so shitty. I'm not gonna say that. Be happy.
What
Fuck
the
loving each other.
hippie?
Be happy with yourself. Be happy with yourself. Don't do drugs or do.
You do you.
You do you, boo. Don't take my line, bro.
I was
That's-
trying to key you in.
Oh, you do you, boo boo. Be happy, cause fuck it, you die at the end.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh, you guys said bye. We could have just left this out and faded out with some music. Yo, fuck that shit. We love you. Haha. No, we don't. They'll try to stop it twice.